Live now?
Just give me a second.
Just 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 tell us when we are live, okay?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Hello. Welcome everyone. Welcome to another very interesting episode of Beyond Code podcast, right? And just to give you a real quick introduction of what we are trying to achieve through this series of podcasts is we're trying to talk to technology leaders, and we're trying to understand about their life, about how they have been in this industry for so long, and what are the works they have been doing, and what it entails to be a tech leader in this very volatile and uncertain world of technology, right? And talking about uncertain and yet creating impact, let me give you a very warm welcome to one of our guests tonight, Parag Singhal. Parag, he's currently VP Engineering at Credit Saison. It's again a huge Japanese firm in credit space. He has been creating some amazing work for the past 10 years in the industry, building some amazing product at Vedantu, MyGate, obviously, and Amazon. As a leader, he believes in something, power of collaboration, the strength and how can diverse perspective will play a role in building some good products. And we will see in today's stream that what are those diverse perspectives are, right? uh, also Parag has been at forefront in terms of venturing into new domains, understanding what new technologies are, and creating some he's on to creating something very big, an all banking platform, which will surely hear from him that what work will go into that. And if not tech, you'll find him maybe doing all sort of activities, physical activities, driving. He loves dancing, swimming, and again, being a tech freak, he loves trying out new gadgets. So Parag, thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out, and especially I understand you are on a small vacation, so thank you for taking time out amidst your busy schedule. A quick opening remark from you, Parag.
Sure. Hi, Mitesh. Thank you so much, and thank you for Recruit team for doing this and inviting me for sharing my experiences here. Uh, yeah, rightly said. Power of collaboration. It's the key of, I think, uh, human mindset, right? We are social beings and we believe in collaboration since the early ages itself. People used to stay in groups. There are different pins, or what we say, they used to go hunting in groups. From that itself till now, the team collaboration thing is like the forefront of everything on every kind of project we are doing, not just tech. Yeah, so circle around to that later as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. So there's an important theme to this conversation today, folks, and I think Parag, being a very enthusiast in terms of trying out new things, and yet creating that impact while you are at multiple forefronts, right? So the theme of this podcast is trying to create an impact while you're starting over and over again, right? So, and we will deep dive into Parag's journey, his mind, what right from his education to his early career in development, and then again building something like MyGate, where he was at forefront in terms of building that. Again, now it's a household name, but the idea itself of building something like this and seeing that idea come up on a screen, and now it's a household name, right? And now being being a tech leader at such a huge firm, right? So we will try to analyze the entire journey, and we'll see where Parag is switch. And obviously, Parag, it will be really glad if you can address our audience, how what are those important movements, right, that kind of paved your way right from your early career to right now where you are, right? Cool.
Definitely, Michelle.
Let's get started. I think very important, a bit of any conversation that I have with the tech leaders. One aspect always comes out very fairly and very vividly is their education, right? And Parag, I'm uh, you being from IIT Kharagpur, so there is a huge notion that, right, uh, you must be a great student during your childhood, right? So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm very sure that, in 9 out of 10 cases, people are good students, great students rather, when they are qualifying for such premier institutes, right? So just want to kind of take you back there and understand, while you were studying, and maybe not IIT Kharagpur, but during your schooling days, or maybe during your engineering days, right? uh, is there a point you realize that, yes, tech is something that's gonna be really big, and I want to make a career out of it? Were there an individual instances, or it was like a combination of a lot of ideas, or your or your circle, or the ecosystem that you had around during your maybe schooling days or engineering days? So what was those typical mindset that happened when it made you transition to your career in tech, Parag?
Definitely. So, I'll start from my childhood,
Okay,
in like
amazing. Yes.
third, from third, fourth standard, where uh, a new subject was introduced called computer science. They just started teaching us basic and logo, and it was pretty fascinating for me of machine doing these things on screen. There were like very small monochrome computers present there, very small labs, like the whole school, we had like 5,000 children, and there were like three computers there. But it was pretty fascinating for everyone. This is something new that has come up, and I was especially interested in that. And I have been a introvert and a backbencher that ways in my school time. But this used to fascinate me so much that I used to skip my PT periods or drill periods, the free periods, and go to computer lab. So my computer teacher and I had good rapport there, and I used to sit there and just try out new different things. So that was my first experience with programming. From there, it was not there in my ninth and 10th. So till 8th, we were doing very basic programming, which was not very much used nowadays.
Mhm.
And till 8th, I was a very average student, mostly I'll say 80-82% normal CBSE courses. And when syllabus changes in ninth, you come across specific refresher things. So getting a little deeper into different sections of science, physics, biology, chemistry, or maths becomes very different from eighth standard. There, I got a specific interest in mathematics. Should I say I found out I am good at it. Okay. And used to love maths. From there, the journey started, ninth, and it was really amazing that way. I was in a Catholic school in a tier 2 city. So from there, it started. So at that time, my cousin brother, we actually, in that city, nobody actually knew about IITs that time. There's something called IIT. So my cousin brother actually got selected in IIT Delhi that time with a amazing rank, and there's a obviously everybody in the family talks about it. Something this is there, and this whole crazy thing is there, like IIT, and your whole life is sorted after that. And obviously, you hear like these stories. This was like 15 years back. Yeah. So after that, I actually looked into what are these exactly and how do we go there. I talked to my brother. Then the natural move was I'm from Rajasthan, so natural move was like, ठीक है, कोटा चलते हैं. Yeah. So I went to Kota. It was like a 2.5 hour train journey from my place. So that Kota was one of the, I will say, key uh, pillars in my life. It has taught me so much. This was the first time, I'll say, what, 16-year-old boy coming out of the house, living alone for 2 years with almost minimal contact. Cell phones भी बहुत rare होते थे वहाँ पर. You used to call from a PCO. And after some time, I got a cell phone. But still talking to there are multiple classes happening every day, and it was very hectic. ठीक है, there are a lot of different ways of coming from a very normal CBSE studies background to this coaching structure. I was in Bansal classes there. It was just amazing. So I used to love maths there. teachers were so amazing, and every day you're focused towards one goal, and you're just fighting for that, and you are so engulfed in that even doing your daily chores, you are just thinking about those problems. ठीक है. There was a book called Erudov in physics. ठीक है. People used to worship it. It's like that. And हम लोग, we used to pick one question and we just keep on thinking about it. How all these different ways. And I had a good group of friends there who just used to discuss these things. So it was pretty fascinating. So I used, from my math, it shifted to physics. Physics was amazing that ways, and I was so engulfed in that. There were actually really good teachers there in Kota for teaching that. So from there, the journey started. I loved what I was doing, and slowly, that converted down to getting a decent rank in J. The natural choice, if you have got a good rank in J, is कि भाई कंप्यूटर उठा लो. पता है नहीं क्या होता है, एक्चुअली में नहीं पता है लोगों को, और तब भी नहीं पता होता है. एवरीबडी इज हैव वेरी डिफरेंट ओपिनियंस. यू एंड इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ टीयर टू सिटी, बिकॉज आपका एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं है. नोबडी एक्चुअली नोज वहाँ पर कि क्या होता है. तो एवरीबडी हु एवर वी न्यू वर पिचिंग फॉर कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स ले लो, इलेक्ट्रिकल ले लो, दोज आर कोर ब्रांचेस. बट आई had a knack for systems, computer, programming languages since my childhood. That came into picture. So line से started with ठीक है computer science से लेना है, I will try that. Kharagpur was not the first choice. Obviously, it was not the first choice, but because it's very far away from Rajasthan, that was. But after which counseling happened in Bombay, and I went there. The campus will day one will disappoint you. It's very you will not even say it is tier 2 city, it's a tier 3 city. It's not at all developed, Kharagpur. But the culture there, the kind of people you meet there, the relationships I have created from there, it's so amazing till now. The core of that is you come out as a person who are willing to do anything, and without even आप मुझे सेल्स पकड़ा दो, आप मुझे ऑपरेशंस पकड़ा दो, या मुझे टेक्निक कोड करना है, या मुझे टीम देखनी है, एनीथिंग, जस्ट थ्रो एट मी, I'll do it. I'll try at least to do that. That's the attitude that was developed from mine. And take it quite frankly, IIT में भी you won't, they are not teaching rocket science there. It's the same syllabus everywhere, right? This is the peers and the kind of conversations we have, and the mindset that develops, right? That is the core thing that I think that came from there for me at least. And yeah, starting. So I did an intern in Infosys in my third year. That was the first company I sat for it. It was an amazing experience. Learned a lot of very cutting edge things. Multi-tenancy was just developing that time. So I had a project there. Third year intern was that. Fourth year, I started with Amazon. And Amazon, I was a part of pricing team there. Pricing team basically looks at all the pricing parameters on all the Amazon pages, not just India, everywhere. So we used to create tools for category managers to set that pricing. So that was my first tool. As an intern, I developed that. That went into production like an year later when I joined. But for that tool, it was I got a PPO from there. So yeah, that's where the college journey ends.
No, I think aptly you put out, right. It's not the education that happened at IIT, right? So you come out of IIT, but IIT never comes out of you, right? It's always
Exactly.
said, right?
Yeah.
The attitude, the discipline, the rigor that is imparted. And not only IIT, any good college, right? It imparts that sense of achievement to you, right? Anything you pick it up, maybe as you rightly mentioned, sales, development, or anything in your life, right? You want to excel at it, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I think when you mentioned a lot of things, right? You developed this, so there was a sense of excelling at doing what you are trying to do, be it like small tool, or now you think back, it's a small tool, but now it's a at that time it was it got you that achievement of getting a PPO at Amazon. But fantastic, I think. Just want to continue with the IT journey, because this is something which I'm very interested in, Parag, right? Because for our listeners, it's very important to understand that it is not just the education or where it is coming from that is important, but also that what are the lessons and what are the habits or what are the traits that you are developing out of it, right? And hence I want to kind of stay more on this journey of your at IIT. And since the theme of today's podcast is trying to do multiple things, so just want to ask you how this picking up a lot of new things, venturing into new domains, developing new products very frequently. You talk about multi-tenancy. This is multi-tenancy at its best in your life, right?
Yeah.
So where did this come from, right? Was it an IIT thing, or was it like in early stages of your life you realize that you are good at multitasking, or maybe it developed later on in your life? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll say this developed from 11th and 12th in Kota itself. I got a not a habit, it's a life skill. Matlab I'm naturally curious about things. So that's the core of everything. If you're curious about something, you'll want to figure out कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, how can I excel at this, or what are the nuances of it to work on anything. And if you're curious, you'll try out multiple things. You'll find out what are you good at. Right, so I told you, right, maths मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता था 9th, and then I shifted to physics. Then it shifted to specifically Android programming in IIT. Android was a new thing coming up, and it keeps on changing because new things will keep on coming, and you will keep trying it out. So if you are curious, if you are not settled down in anything, कि भाई मैंने सीख लिया and I'm done with it. If you're curious, you'll trying out new things. You'll learn something new. You'll find out that you are actually liking something new. So that that's the thing, and that is actually developed in, I think, pre-IIT days. IIT days were more helpful in developing the overall character. See, it's not just about the classes there. It's about normally CS people not don't do not participate in anything much across it because there are a lot of assignments and a lot of stuff. But I love to dance. I was a head of the society there in Kharagpur for the dance society. I used to be a GSEC mess. So it's a variety of different things. Mess has a different skill set that you have to do. You have to negotiate with vendors sometimes. That is something how will you know? You're a studious guy, you just अपने math PCM किया है and you are into IIT. You're doing that with vendors. Now in dancing, it needs a lot of focus and coordination, and it's a group activity, and you have to train all of your as a choreographer, right? So that is a different life skills. All of this combined skills you get out of any place. No, it's not just about an IIT. It's from any college. You gain these life skills which take you further on. So exactly those skills are till date helping me out in doing my day-to-day course, or handling my team, or collaborating with different leaders from different spaces and verticals.
Amazing, amazing. I think you touched upon a very valid point, and especially for the audience who are young in their career, right? I also keep on hearing that I want balance, right? I want to have a balanced lifestyle, right? And and a very important, I remember someone said it. I don't know who said it, that a balanced ball goes nowhere. It stays still, right?
Exactly.
But an unbalanced ball, at least it goes somewhere. It depends on what kind of force you are imparting on it, right? So it's, as you mentioned, that you keep yourself curious, right? It keeps you keep yourself not balanced at times. Will also give you a lot of a lot of things to try. And obviously at some point of time where you felt belong, or you felt passionately involved in something, you can pick that
Yes,
as your go-to career, right? So
definitely.
a big lesson, I think, to all of our listeners, is try out things, especially when you're early in your career. Try out multiple things, and obviously one thing will be will stuck with you for your longer career, right? And just to just
Definitely.
on that note, Parag, I think because a lot of time what happens, right, when we are discussing about colleges of IIT particularly, right, there are a lot of success stories that are highlighted, right? But we never talk about obviously it is not just success that are seen, right? There are also times where people like you might have tried something but it did not have worked out, right? And
Definitely.
obviously
Definitely.
while developing product, while making something happen, right, it did not work out the way you wanted, right? So and just to kind of give an insight to our audience that yes, things may go wrong, it's not, everything is not about sunshine and rainbow. It might also go wrong in your life, right? So can you also like throw some light in from your experiences that you tried doing something at any of your venture, right? Maybe it at Amazon, MyGate, or Vedantu, right? It did not go that well, and what kind of things you did after that, so that you were back on track, or maybe your idea, or your whatever idea you have envisioned was taken to fruition. Yeah, please.
So definitely. So it's yeah. So my gate, you guys won't even know how many products we tried and failed internally, which never came out as well. And I am not at the authority to disclose a lot of them, but there were a lot of things we developed at MyGate. MyGate started with a security solution, and it now kind of become a full super app that ways. It has everything for you in a community. You can shop from there. You can do your second-hand buying from there. You can call services from there, gate approval, everything. But the security part is anyways there, and the ease of access is always there. You can connect with your community. Basically the community members, right? Directly you can communicate, chat, calls without even sharing your numbers. And if you want to raise some concerns, that also is there. We shifted to a feed based structure. That was a huge experiment where we did, and we didn't even actually, you might have seen the new UI that must have come out. Yeah, that was my last project in actually my year. So it was done beautifully well, and it was very thought through as well. But it's a see, in a B2C company, these are a little bit of a gamble is always there. People might like it, people might not like it. We have thought through everything, but still there are nuances there. So you have to take that chance sometimes. You might fail, you might succeed. So there was a product we developed, and it was a good product, and it was for corporate companies, and we started selling it out as well, but it didn't fare that well in the community that time. This was like 4 years back, 5 years back actually. Yeah. So that product is now in a back burner, and it's there, the code is there, we have built it, we have spent like 3 4 months purely there, and a good enough team, 6 7 people developed that, but now it cannot be used. That was a kind of a failure. But from that, we shifted to a lot of different multiple products, which did wonderfully well. Something similar to this feed thing. All of this thought process, actually, those kind of discussions in a startup help you out a lot.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's whenever an idea is formed, right, and the idea is formed, and the time the idea is actually executed, the whole idea is transformed, right? It was not the actual idea which was thought at the initial, right? So it's very
definitely.
important to kind of stay in that journey of ideation, development, and execution of that idea, and still be very true to the purpose, right? And I think MyGate is a success because it stayed true to what it actually wanted to do, right? Maybe through
Yes.
different means, right? Maybe through
Yeah.
a means of, say, a corporate means, or maybe through a fleet management means,
Yeah.
right? But the actual purpose never went out, and hence I think very aptly when you pointed out that it's a success story because it stayed true its purpose, right? And I think we as a company are also trying to do the same, Parag, when we are talking to our stakeholders, be it our customers, be it our candidate. It's very important to understand where these guys are coming from, and what kind of aspirations both our customers as well as our candidate have, and act according to their aspirations, right? Provide them the right opportunity, make sure that their needs are addressed. And hence I think it's a lesson for all of our listeners, that any activity or every activity that you're trying to do, make sure that the means may change, but the actual purpose will be intact throughout the entire journey of the ideation.
Definitely, definitely. So I'd like to add two more things here. So
Yeah, yeah,
there's
please.
a thing called so there are two aspects to it which are pretty important, and nowadays it's consistency and hard work. Okay. The problem with our system is, since early days we are always told that 10th board कर लो सब चिल हो जाएगा, ट्वेल्थ कर लो सब चिल हो जाएगा, कॉलेज खत्म कर लो सब चिल हो जाएगा. And it is never the case. That consistency and hard work never will should never go away as well, right? That is core of you. You need to learn to work a little harder. It's not about more hours. It's about working smarter and harder as well. So you have to maintain that consistency. Everybody cannot be a rock star that way. But if you be consistent, you will definitely be something. You will be at least a rock star in your particular domain, which you have consistently working on the same things. Nowadays, people keep shifting things here and there to try it out. Fair enough, but you have to put your heart and soul into something to get the final results out, right? If you put a half-hearted effort, you won't even know what this exactly works for you or not.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Perfect.
hard work.
I think, right. I think it's all about, consistency, right? 1.01 raised to 365 is much greater than just one raised to 365, right? That's just point one every day, right? That
Yeah,
creates huge impact in your life. Cool, Parag. I think let's move on to some fun stuff. I think I have
yeah,
some rapid fire questions. I think you have been managing teams. You have been working through in the last 10 years of your life. You have been developing codes, managing people who develop codes, right? So quick 3 4 5 questions. You have to choose this or that, and it's all tech, right? Nothing else. Okay, cool. Small teams or big teams?
I'll say small teams. Yeah.
Python or Java?
I am a Java developer myself. I use it.
Okay.
But yeah,
So early bird or night owl?
night owl for
Controversial. AI or blockchain?
I'll say neither at this point. We'll come. We can go into a little deeper there.
Awesome. GitHub link or video resume?
So, it's not a rapid fire question. It is dependent on what kind of profile you are choosing for. But for junior profile, I will definitely prefer GitHub profile.
Perfect. So I think I'll just kind of on that note only, where we are trying to see what kind of people you are hiring, right? If some roles require GitHub, then obviously those things are necessary. Some roles require resumes or maybe video resumes, right? So you also have played a role of you have during your journey met a lot of mentors, right? That will kind of told you that yes, this is something that you should be doing, right? So just wanted to kind of understand, because now you are playing a role of a mentor, right? You're guiding a lot of these people, you're taking a lot of these interviews, helping people take a lot of interviews, right? But at some point in your career also, guidance and mentorship did play a larger role, and especially when you were early in your career. I just want to kind of understand how mentorship impacted your career, as maybe as a developer, or after that also, Parag.
Definitely, definitely. So from the start of my career, Amazon was a different ballgame. But when I joined Vedantu, so the CTO Pulkit was there. So from him, I basically learned how to be calm in difficult situations. Okay, there will always be difficult situations as a starter, and he's very, I'll say, different kind of a leader. He loves to give freedom to people to execute. Okay? And that kind of freedom, when you get, you explore a lot of things and you come up with very, very interesting ideas. If you're not bound to something that way, that foundation is important in some other way, but very little. If you're keeping your team free to think and discuss, they'll come out with amazing stuff that way. Okay, I remember, I think Apple's office has a common open area in the center where Steve Jobs wanted to all the people from all the department to come and interact, just interact, and that gave them so many new ideas just from that single space. So that was a philosophy that I gained from Pulkit. After that, there was a brief stint in Craftsvilla, I think 2 months. There, my mentor was really cool. I really learned a lot from him. In just those 2 months, Akash Saxena, he was the CTO of Hotstar last. Now he's managing Geo platforms, I think. And his leadership style is, it's pretty amazing. He has a pretty flat hierarchy. He has just 5 6 CMs, and he was a CTO. We just interacted it in half an hour a day, and he used to sit in all the technical discussions that were going to happen. deep dive to this. He understands what exactly is happening. So there is a that skill, that leadership skill, was pretty engraved in me till now. This was 7 years back. Yeah. After that, my gateway, there were a lot of amazing mentors. I'll say, Shans, the CTO, there, he gave me a lot of opportunity to grow, a lot of different ideas. So I was basically taking care of new initiatives there. Anything that needs to be developed new, that comes to me, because I can develop it. I can get it developed a lot faster and a lot more scalable and robust. That was the idea. So from there, that confidence actually bred in me a sense of what I'll say. That confidence was there, na, to I can do this, and I can develop something similar to that. And the same confidence was conveyed to my team as well. The team actually started performing the similar way, and you believe it or not, that similar team is there with me till now. It's
Nice.
been, I think, 7 years.
Okay.
After that, there was Devesh Sahai. So he was an amazing mentor. He was a lot more process oriented, and he used to get into very minute details. So that's where I got that. Anyways, I was very curious about these things, and I've seen a lot of leaders which actually don't delve into. They don't even have the time to delve into finer details of things. But he made sure he is into. He knows everything, at least, so they can actually discuss with. And it was an amazing. If your leader who is like who is handling a lot of different managerial stuff, taking out time and just sitting with you in these kind of discussions, it's a very different feeling that way. And there was Pranav, he's handling my get sex right now. So at a lot of he is very good at architectural stuff. He has developed scalable systems at a very different level. So all those amazing. Now coming on to Credit Saison. So Credit Saison is it's not exactly a startup. We just started a subsidiary. It's a decent enough company. So there, I was so impressed with my discussions in the niche. The whole concept of the company is on people. They are so people focused in everything. So when your leaders are people focused, the people actually generate such good stuff, and they are pretty attached to everything. You will know, it started 4.5 years back. People from then are still there, 4.5 years now, and almost all of them that joined it. Yeah, that is a beautiful achievement, I'll say. And here, the CEO of the company, Presha, she is uh, she's one person I admire, I think, the most in my life right now. She is handling such a big business, and now she knows every final detail about everything. Being the CEO of such a big company, she can ask any person, हाँ इसमें क्या चल रहा है, specific point. I was like, how do you get the bandwidth to do that? So she's really inspiring a person. If you ever get have a chance to meet her, you'll be like pretty amazed. Current CTO there, Dave, he has a similar leadership style. He gives me a lot of freedom, and collaboratively we have hired almost 55 people in my team in like last 5 months. 5 months, and we have developed a product from scratch to MVP in like 5 months. It's a banking product. So a lot of things has a lot of nuances are there. No, there's a lot of other teams which are contributing as well, but this was a pretty good feat. And so Devka style, it's very people focused. He trusts whoever he hires. So that's the beauty of it. So whenever you hire someone, you have to trust them. Yeah. If you start micromanaging, you won't go anywhere. So there was a very interesting quote. Someone said, "You trust but validate." So you always trust first. Validation can come on later.
Interesting, I think, Parag, when you have mentioned, a lot of these names, right, where everybody had different style of leadership, right? One was people oriented, someone was process oriented, someone had that gut feeling that, yes, if I have trusted someone, that, I trust my gut, and obviously I leave it to him or her to break that trust. And the moment he or she breaks that trust, then obviously the things may go other way, right? But lot of different styles, right? And now you are on the other side of the table, right? You are Obviously you'll have certain mentors, but you'll be more of a mentor to other people now, right? At this stage of your career, right? And obviously a part of being you a mentor is hire people, right? That's the, I mean, now bigger chunk of your day-to-day activities, hire
Definitely.
good people, right? So when you are in the market, right, searching for people and people are giving interviews to you, because our audience also wants to hear from you that what are those things that you kind of specifically in red flags, what are those red flags that you look out while you're hiring any candidate, right? And that might indicate you that, yeah, this is not the right fit for me, right? So just want to kind of highlight few points from your experience, that what are those things that are not suitable for any candidates to have.
Definitely, definitely. So it's depends on the what kind of role you are hiring for. Let's say if you are hiring for an individual contributor, so you need to have that particular skill at least, whatever your individual contributor. Like say you're hiring a Java developer. Now somebody needs to know the basics of Java at least, and they at least need to write a proper code. I don't believe in pseudo codes. Okay, logic is at one place. You need to know how to write code properly. Okay, you can use the IDE, but you need to know how to write code. That is kind of the first interview. Then the second one is more around problem solving. Yeah, how do you think? How do you think about things? It's not necessarily able to convert it into code. That can also happen, but at least what is the thought process you're going through? How quick you are in solving problems or understanding edge cases. So that is one hack for it. When it comes to my interview, I mostly look for soft skills like how curious or how enthusiastic is that person, okay? And how vested that person is in our vision. What are we developing? Okay. There is a very interesting talk from Simon Sinek, if you know, he's a very amazing leadership influencer. So there are two types of people. One who play the small game, and there's a long-term game. Okay. I look for people who are in for a longer-term game. It's not about. That's why you will find people who are still working with me, which I have started hired in my gate or before that as well, like 7 8 years back. So that are in the long game, and they are learning similar to the different domains I'm coming to, and they also so that kind of
Brilliant.
bond is there for yeah.
Nice. Good. I think any other suggestions from people. I think obviously problem solving is one a huge aspect that in a lot of candidates kind of struggle with, right? So can you now just give them some hints or some levers which they can address, because problem solving is an area where it's not a something that you can prepare for, right? It
Definitely.
has to be there in yourself, right? So obviously you cannot prepare in say a day or two problem solving. It has to be a process that you have followed maybe in your schooling, your career, in early stages of your college and now, right? So and that's why a lot of people think that problem solving is it's a gray area for a lot of these young coders and young developers, right? So can you, just to make them aware that yes, problem solving is, it's an area which you can address, which can be addressed. It's not a rocket science, right? It can be addressed by very basic, say, a first principle thinking. Right? You don't have to think a lot of things, right? Simple thinking, right? So can you throw some light onto that, because a lot of our audience struggles with the problem solving. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. You had touched upon a very interesting point, solving by first principles. So, Elon Musk basically pushes this a lot, okay? And it's much more important than we actually realize. People, that's how the market is right now. They just go to Geeks for Geeks or Lead Code, and they just cram up solutions of specific problems which can be there, or specific type of this is. I understand it's a part of your curriculum as well to understand all of these things, but competitive programming can take you to a certain step. It's not exactly used every day in your work here as well. You need to understand new problems and try to solve them from very basics, right? So important thing like identify the problem, break it into different parts, how uh, how this smaller problem can be solved. If you solve one problem, then move on to next. The breaking of the problem is very very important if you are thinking from the first principles. And why is it needed, how it can be solved, what can be the applications. So a lot of those things are there. Specifically coming to problem solving for computer science, it is more around algos. Okay, and everybody, I think everybody know Corman. Most of the people have gone through that book, it has everything. Okay, if you have read it once or twice, it is you know almost everything from there. You can uh, uh, work around the problems and come up with a solution from there itself. Okay, you no need to just repetitively do something from there if you understand them well. So I'll say, yeah, problem solving is more in your inner area, that curiosity thing, right? You want to solve this, and you have to figure out how, yeah, ऐसे कर सकते हैं, how will this work? You take all the approaches. It's kind of like chess, right? Every move, there are thousand, okay, millions of different moves which are there. You can just keep figuring out next, what happens next? How can I break this?
So I think it's more important to to have a right approach. So obviously, problem solving is not. So whenever problem solving questions are asked, it's not to arrive at a conclusion, right? It's not to
Yes.
arrive at a solution. It's how you have arrived at that solution, right? Maybe you are
Yes.
wrong, right? Maybe in some cases, the algorithm that you have used may not be the perfect one, right? But the way you have broken down that problem, maybe have thought through what can be a probable solution, right? That will speak volumes about how you are approaching a particular problem. And that's why I think in interviews, a lot of interviewers will seek out your approach more than what solution you have arrived.
Definitely. I mean, so most of the problem solving questions are open ended that way. So we try doing that only. You go down a particular path, you make the interviewer understand basically why are you thinking this. And if that logic fits well, that is the more crucial. Like you're thinking that deep, at least you're thinking that deep. That's the core part which I look for.
Interesting. I think it's a very good point. I think a lot of our audience will try to resonate with that, because this is one area that not only our audience, but obviously the industry is such that people are kind of want to have this addressed day in and day out by people. Again, I think coming we'll stay on this and on this topic, Parag, because again this is a very important topic for our listeners, right? While you are in the process of taking interviews, obviously you all have, even when I take interview, there's one or two question that I already have to ask to everyone, because that's a go-to question, and that will give me a lot of insight into what someone is thinking, right? So do you have that one ace up your sleeve that nahi, ye to puchunga nahi main kuch, or or any group of questions? I just want to kind of understand from you that what areas are important for you when you're framing questions.
See, so I usually take more architecture design questions, so low level design or high level design. And there's a specific problem I ask people that was a problem actually we face actually in my kit we face that. That's the problem I form. And in that there is a step-by-step approach to identify a lot of things there. How do you think? How do you code? How do you use different tools? So I actually give them tools. These are all the tools available. These are all the databases available. You need to write SQL queries, or you need to use Rabbit for that, or you need to save some data in a cache. So this is more for, I think, 4 5 years experience person, more on the design side of things. And it's a very interesting question, but it's a step by step approach. It's not key. If you're not coming to the final conclusion, it's all gone.
Hmm.
Right? So how much do you understand distributed systems? Okay, how do you, in a simple query, you can actually understand that a particular person has a knowledge of the database or not. They will talk about indexes. Okay, they will talk about how those indexes will work. What is the best index for that? All of those things are basic knowledges that knowledge basically which people acquire over time. And for positions like SD2 and SD3s, these are like bare minimum we look for, right? You know, you need to understand your high level designs, at least the high level design. Low level designs we can come onto later. Why are we choosing a particular thing for your rapid fire questions, right? Python or Java each have their own strengths, and where to use which one is the more crucial question. So that's where I actually look for architects and SD3s for that bit question. How do you define these? Why to use Mongo or SQL, or why to use Rabbit and Kafka? Any kind of that architectural question comes into picture. For say beginners, my suggestion will be keep your niche fixed. Okay? You try and explore stuff a lot, but fix a niche that you want to do something in Java or you want to do something in Python. Go deep into it. Okay, go deeper into it and find be an expert. Now your niche is set. After that, you can expand your breadth. You can understand a lot of things, get better at that. But you have a base setup. Okay, this is something I'm really good at, and that can sustain me.
Hmm. Cool. I think a lot of insights to be drawn from, at what level, what kind of questions are important, right? You mentioned SD1, SD2 within an architect level, right? So cool. I think I hope the audience which are listening right now are drawing a lot of inspiration as well as a lot of insights from Parag's journeys into being a tech leader right now. And we have a lot of questions coming in, Parag, from our audience, but we'll take them later on. But now I'll come to my favorite topic which we were having a discussion earlier. And how do you envision the future of tech? What's happening right now? Okay, in terms of uh, obviously the AI thing, and obviously a lot of things happening in tech. The entire landscape is changing very quickly right now.
Yeah.
So, what are your views? What do you see? What's happening in the market, and specifically, maybe we can go on a global level. Then we can kind of see where Indian market is going through.
Definitely. For see, there are a lot of amazing tech that is coming inside. Okay, that there was blockchain. After that, this AI is now taking it. So you'll find buzzwords every few years. You'll find buzzwords. Now AI is a buzzword. So ML was a buzzword. There was so data science was a buzzword. You'll keep listening to all of this, but all of this uh, needs some time to mature. Okay, right now, let's take an example of blockchain. It was an amazing tech. Okay, the core concept of it is really amazing. The distributed tracing setup, everything is really good. The problem is we actually adapted in the first use cases that can be there in the start. Yeah, it is misused a lot, and with every tech, this is there. It take a lot of time to mature. Blockchain might be going forward. They might use it in banking transactions and a lot of those things. We were actually thinking of using it in our setup as well as in my gateway. I was doing correct. So this technology as a core has huge advantages, but we developed crypto with it, which was mostly used for black markets. That was I've read a lot of blogs around it. This was the worst implementation somebody could have done for blockchain. But it happened. Came out of it. Now it will evolve more. Similar thing with AI. See, we are going crazy around AI, and it has more misuses right now than usages. People misuse it for everything. I have see. Not to tell something. Yeah, people have started just even an interview question is asked. They'll just search on ChatGPT and answer it from there. That kind of interactions we are getting, and it is a huge misuse. You cannot actually find out that somebody is cheating. It's and if an image is fake, if the voice is fake, so all of those misuses are more coming into forefront, right? The better use for it, the other very good companies are doing amazing work. There's a friend of mine, Gurjeet, his company is in Africa. They are doing medical imaging using AI. They do MRI scanning through AI. Amazing use case they have done. They've got FDA approval as well, and it's these are the solutions that we should be looking for into AI, and we get into morphing images and morphing voices. So yeah, that's my problem with any new tech that comes with it. It has to be used responsibly. Everything in the world has to be used responsibly, right? And most of the times it starts with negative usages, but yeah, it will evolve going forward. But yeah, AI definitely going forward. AI is the way. See, tech comes into picture when we need automation. AI is the next level for that. So that is the natural extension for programming. I will say.
I think well put, Parag. I think any if you see hype cycle of any technology, right, right from its early adopters to innovators and early adopters, right. There is so whenever money gets involved, there will always be kind of misusage of that particular technology, right. And it's I think if you ask me, it's right that it's happening at this point of time, right, because if the technology has kind of matured and then a negative or negative uses would have started, then the repercussions would have been more evident and more the impact would have been greater compared to what it is right now. At least now we understand that yes, there are deep fakes, yes, there are morphs images, yes, there are transcripted voices and pseudocode being made by ChatGPT and other things, right? And still we are saying that ChatGPT or AI is in very early stage of its life. Right?
Yeah.
So
One more
in my
glitch I
opinion,
had with
that's
it is, yeah, for AI, see, the problem with AI is everybody is now aware about it.
hmm,
And now, very junior developers, they are just using
correct.
it to
Hmm,
get code out of it.
right.
They are not even doing that, they're not putting in that work to learn those things in a little bit detail. That's my one more problem with it is it's a major problem. See, going forward, people won't even know why is this was done. Something was done, some snippet was taken. हमको पता ही नहीं होगा.
Hmm.
So that's a bigger problem that we are just starting to.
No, I think very, very, very fairly put here. I think we are also started seeing a lot of answers being given from Chat GPT, right? Copy paste it, and so a real it's and since a lot of people from that background are listening, and maybe you can it's very important because at any point of time this will come out, right? If not now, maybe if you have cracked the interview and you're doing actual work. It will come out in the open that yes, there was some help that would have taken, right? So try not to use it because obviously it's an enabler to you, it's not the
Exactly.
solution. Use it as an enabler, as an help,
Yeah.
right? It helps you solve a particular problem, use for that, right? But don't use it just to kind of completely solve it for you, and don't have anything just to copy paste apart from that, right? So yeah.
Exactly, exactly. It's an amazing tool if you use it properly or responsibly.
Absolutely, yes, 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 yes. With power comes great responsibility.
Exactly, yes.
Yes, that's the whole point. Yeah. Anyways, I think uh, uh, the startup. How about the new startup space, Parag? Right? Because we are seeing a lot of people are telling that market is not good, but in India, I think if you ask me, some amazing developments, right? Zomato just hit its first year profit, right? And
Yeah,
obviously. Uh, when we talk about startup and the valuation game, it was not something that people would think profit would be related, right? And it's like uh, the fundamentals are not good about this company because they are startup. The valuation is strong, but profits are, now we have started seeing profits are also happening. Paytm also there, Zomato there. Flipkart released such a huge, stock options, and people were very happy. So there is wealth generator also, right? So I see a lot of positivity, especially specifically in Indian landscape, on the startup system, right? And obviously these are not any no more any startups are, we cannot call Flipkart a startup anymore, but yeah, they
yeah,
were right,
yeah.
and we can see the advantage of such a big company and such a innovative company, right? So what in your opinion is changing in Indian landscape, Parag?
Yeah, the Indian landscape, I feel because there are wonderful startups that are coming up, and those have a very specific vision. And
Hmm.
people, if they stick to their vision, right, they will do amazing stuff.
Hmm.
Okay. It, my guess vision was simplifying living.
Absolutely.
So we are doing that, and we are stick to that. We are not venturing into multiple thousand directions. Focus on that. They will, someday it might not happen, right? The monetization ways will open up for you. If you have true to your people. So there are multiple challenges with that, but people love it. Okay? They feel that need for it. A lot of societies where MC members actually removed it, the residents pushed the MC members keep in mind. So that kind of a connect that that company has. The Vedantu ka vision was so, I was so sold into that vision. Yeah, we want to take education to everyone, and it was what 2014. तब इतना कुछ online था भी नहीं यार. So that was really amazing, and we used to do one-on-one sessions. It was very early for India. कि One-on-one sessions usually cost a lot more, and not everyone can afford it. And we shifted to one to few, one to many, and then one to a whole group of classes that are more affordable. And this helped a lot of students. Now people from tier 3, tier 4 cities as well now can get access to good teachers, and they can understand. So they've been true to their vision. Now they are expanding. They've become a unicorn a few years, I think last year only. Yeah. So if you are sold into that vision. You have put your heart and soul into that vision, right? You will reach there somehow. And your vision actually connects with the people. Zomato solved a very interesting problem of reviews. They started with that. They could have, then they started into delivery. Now people actually connect Zomato with food. That's why, and that will happen. There are obviously troubles in monetization, and it will be there. India may, for services people don't want to usually pay. Okay, it's a thing. You have to figure ways out of it. Right? Other than that, for tech folks, the space is pretty ripe. Okay. If you are good at what you do, if you are focused on what you do, and if you are hardworking enough, you will find amazing work. Okay. There's no problem in basically getting jobs at a good company, decent company. Startups are also there, but you need to, yes, you need to have that work hard, okay, and you need to have the knack for the long term game. It cannot be short term.
The infinite game.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. I think Parag, I think you aptly mentioned, right? For companies with focus, and certainly not only focus, just adapting yourself to changes, keeping your focus intact, right? So that's the whole mood that Indian ecosystem has come up. I completely agree with you. We have few questions, I think, Parag. I think we have 3, 4 questions that have come up from the audience. I'll pick the most interesting one. Okay, if you were to start your career all over again, what are what change, going back to your career, you would have made, right? One change that you would like to make.
Yeah, very interesting. So uh, all the changes I did were very strategic. I'll say different domains, and everything has a learning attached to it. So overall, that has made me into a person that I am today. So I'll not consider anything that I want to change per se. There was one move which ended very quickly because of the uh, layoff in a company, completely shutting down the tech division itself. That move I might have avoided because of that, but in that move as well, I got an amazing mentor. So everything has a, silver lining to it. It's like that.
Nice, nice, cool. Uh, Again, an interesting question. What particular skill that helped you to grow from a senior software engineer or tech lead now to being a VP engineer of such a large firm?
Yeah. So there are very two things. Okay? One is you have to be empathetic
Mhm.
towards everyone. It is uh, everyone is human that way, and everyone is emotional. You need to connect with them at that particular level that you trust them. Okay, there's a sense of empathy. It's not like somebody's not doing it out of any grudge or anything like that. You need to have that sense, and you need to empower people around that. How do they want their journey to grow? And most of the decision should be coming from them that they want to do this, so that the buy-in is much more. So that is one thing I really believe in, since my starting leading days as well, from technical lead. From there, the same thing is continued till now. The other part is more around. I was not sold for processes in very early journey of my startups. They were when you're a developer, right? It looks like a lot of hassle to you, but coming to coming to today, so the processes are really important that ways, because they set your pace. There's a discipline that is set, and times like COVID actually taught us that these processes actually help you out in overall functioning very smoothly. So those processes have to be intact. Understand there is a burden. You always feel कि भाई जीरा fill करना पड़ रहा है. It's a time consuming task. Most of the tech folks do that. ठीक है? But it's really helping in the long term.
Okay.
And leading guy, I'll say, uh, there's one more thing that you should do. That a lot of people, what they do stop looking into the code. Okay, just get into the managerial side. They just manage people. They get into meetings. They understand the product more, not get into the architecture discussions or code. So I never left that. I never want to leave that. But whenever I'm shifting, I usually tell them that at least 40% of the time I want to do this. At least. Yeah, and in every company I've maintained that. So that is one thing that keeps me up to the well, what other folks are thinking, right? Technically, I can connect with them. It's not just manager level stuff. It's more technical as well. So uh, that respect comes from there. A lot of it, if you know. Right? So that was one of the more crucial things I feel as a leader in technical field you should have.
Right. So you have like just to summarize for our audience, it's all three pillars, right? People, process, and technology, right?
Exactly, exactly.
You have to be kind of take all these three things in tandem and then grow along with it, right? At certain age, you will just find people helping you. At certain age, a certain path for your career, you'll find processes really helping you, and certain point obviously technology will, yeah, play a bigger role compared to people and processes, right? But every point of time, and especially when you are trying to be a leader into especially in tech industry, right? You'll have to take all these three pillars into account. Okay, so yes, this
Definitely.
leads to my next
Nicely
question.
summed up.
uh yes, another very nicely put up question from one of our audience. Where do people go wrong while climbing up the ladder in tech? I think you answered part of it, but again, I think if you want to expand that, where do people generally go wrong while they're trying to climb up the tech ladder?
So, it's a little personal. ठीक है, मतलब my personal opinion around that. A lot of people, when they grow up the ladder, right, they start getting into more stakeholder management than connecting with the rest of their team. ठीक है. It's more transactional with them, and it's more focus on the senior stakeholders. Whatever that is coming down, that's passing on to the team. You have to be a leader. You have to shield them in every way, and you can appreciate them in any way. That is one part I've seen a lot of people missing, and that is one thing people go wrong. The other part is more around the leaving out the tech out of basically engineering out of engineering manager. Out of that, yeah. You have to be an engineer first, then you can be a manager.
Awesome, awesome. Cool. I think Parag, I think I can't. I don't want to stop this. I want to continue for because I am having fun, but I think
Same here,
you
same.
also understand that we have certain time constraint, and obviously, even our audience want to kind of continue this. I'm getting few more questions, but I think we have covered that in some sense in our past question. But I think again, fantastic. Thank you so much, Parag. It was an amazing 1 hour. It flew by, so quickly. I didn't realize that, we are having fun. And obviously, while we are having fun, we were also trying to kind of understand and give a lot of insights to these folks who are listening to us. Thank you so much. Any closing comments, Parag? How did you feel? How was the entire experience like?
Thank you so much, Amitesh and Radim, for inviting me over. It was a very fun, casual conversation, and I like these kind of stuff. It should be more humanly. Like, it should not be a planned, question-based approach.
Yeah.
So, and thank you so much for inviting me for that as well.
The pleasure
It was
is
a
completely ours, Parag. I hope we stay connected, and obviously, our audiences will reach out to you on LinkedIn and everything else where you are quite active. So please, I think, please, folks, please do reach out to Parag, and obviously to our team, recruit team. We will help you out in any questions that you have regarding your career, your questions, any kind of help you need. Okay. Thank you again.
definitely,
Thank you for
definitely.
tuning in. Hope you have a good weekend, and hope everyone stays safe. Cheers. Thank you. Bye bye.